was already pretty obvious to most people that the newest woke Disney live-action race swap adaptation of one of their classic movies, in this case Snow White starring Rachel Zegler, was going to be a complete and total disaster. And that was before people heard Rachel Zegler open her mouth, especially coming off the box office failure that was The Little Mermaid movie, a movie that needed in all likelihood to hit at least $700 million worldwide just to break even, and couldn't even come close to that number. But the more we find out about this, the worse it gets for Disney, including the fact that just based off the initial costs that have been revealed for the movie, in all likelihood, this is something that's going to ramp up to over $300 million production budget. We've heard all of the nonsense coming out of Rachel Zegler's mouth, and now they're getting trolled in a pretty epic way by Daily Wire. Daily Wire, who's doing their own stuff, what they say is agenda-free, politically free, it's just supposed to be entertainment. They're doing their own version of Snow White. Again, Snow White is not just a Disney property. Now, of course, if you're to make Snow White looking exactly like she did in the 1937 cartoon with all the dwarves of the same names, that is still Disney's copyrighted material. But in terms of the Snow White, the character, the fairy tale character, it's public domain and anyone can use it. And Daily Wire with a big announcement, trolling Disney while they did it, saying that Disney's lost their way. They just announced they're doing their own version of Snow White. And almost like it's in response, it feels like Disney had to do damage control. All of a sudden, we get this news coming out of Disney from Snow White News. Rachel Zegler reportedly blew audiences away with her performance as Snow White and scored very high with viewers in a test screening. Gal Gadot and Andrew Burnap also got high scores during the screening for their characters. I'm sure that this is totally, completely legit. You know, the movie that still has to undergo a bunch of reshoots and things like that that are still planned after the actors strike. I'm sure it tested so well with audiences. And this news just happened to come out in the immediate aftermath of this big project being announced and Disney getting destroyed. And where does it come from? Oh, the Diz Insider and Skylar Schuler. Wait, I can't check it out. I'm preemptively blocked by this dude. Literally no idea who it is. I'm sure Diz Insider, 100% truthful and accurate with their reporting. Rachel Zegler just blew everybody away. You know, this wouldn't be the first time they desperately tried to do damage control for this movie. Do you remember when these set pictures leaked of the 7 Portland baristas, the homeless people? That's what it looked like from the set of Disney's Snow White. And what did Disney try to say immediately? Those aren't set pictures. That's not real. That's not from our product. That's just fake news. And then they had to come out and backtrack and admit, well, no, they are actually real pictures. We just didn't mean for them to be released to the public. Okay, so you lie. You lied to try to do damage control about your garbage woke product, the newest race swap Snow White. Yeah, that's why people think it's pretty likely that they would also be willing to say just about anything they could to stop the bleeding when it comes to this movie. Unfortunately, as soon as Rachel Zegler's allowed to speak again, whenever the actor strike does come to a close, it's probably just going to be more disasters like this one for Disney.
Oh, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird. And of course, somebody who hated the original.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film.
When I was doing this film, not when I auditioned, when I was doing this film, we know this thing is going to be a nightmare. It's pretty obvious, especially when you dump this much money into something. All the delays that they've had with it, they're going to dump, in all likelihood, based on the initial costs that go back to last year. We're looking at something that's likely going to balloon up to around $300 million for this dog shit. And with all the bad press, with all the bad PR, we get a big announcement from Daily Wire that they're doing their own agenda-free Snow White. Who knows if it's going to be any good? That remains to be seen. It was just a little teaser. But then, by the way, there's some really good news, guys. People loved it. People love Rachel Zegler as Snow White. We promise that we leaked to Diz Insider. Yeah, I'm sure, totally believable. Rachel Zegler, I'm sure she blew the audience away with her performance. Let me know what you guys think about the latest damage control that Disney looks to be doing for their Snow White disaster in the making. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.